and you're very welcome to the first episode of 2020 of the South Tip Arts Podcast. And this week, I'm joined by Roisin Maher, who's the curator of Finding A, which is a celebration of female composers. And in 2020, the theme will be broadening a little. So, Roisin, hi, how are you?
Hi, Emer, how are you? And thanks very much for having me on the podcast.
Not at all. I'm delighted to have you. Roisin, Finding A Voice, this will be the third year, am I right?
Absolutely, yes. We started in 2018, so this is our third year running Finding A Voice. And this year we're delighted to really kind of broaden out the genres that we cover. So we're going to include traditional Irish music and jazz for the first time alongside the classical music repertoire. So we're really excited about that.
That's excellent. It's really gone from strength to strength over the last 3 years, and it's been lovely to watch, knowing you both, yourself and Cliona. It's been lovely to watch it develop, and it's almost like it's got legs or something. It's just sort of taken this momentum on. It's beautiful to see.
Oh, thanks very much. I mean, I suppose for us, myself and Cliona, we would have started out just really, it was a kind of a pipe dream, we were kind of sitting around the kitchen table, thinking big and trying to think of things that we could do in Clonmel. And, so it's great to have received Arts Council funding now for the third year in a row. So it really makes us feel a little bit like, okay, well, this is something that, that we can kind of really run with and develop and continue to grow, and, over the last 3 years, or over the last 2 years, I suppose, we would have featured music by more than 50 women composers over the centuries, and that's fantastic. And, again, even this year now, there will be new composers included, alongside composers who have already featured. And we're also welcoming back, I suppose, some performers who have appeared previously and who had such a great time in Clonmel that they want to come back.
That's brilliant.
So that's excellent as well. So, for example, the RTE Contempo Quartet, who people would have heard in the first year, and they did quite a kind of modern program, I suppose, really the first time they were here. But this time they're actually going to do more, I think, 19th, early 20th century repertoire. And that'll be really exciting. And they're going to be joined by the pianist Aileen Cahill. And so that will be great as well. And she's also going to do a lunchtime concert with the viola player, Andrea Banchu from the Contempo Quartet. So, they're really going to be involved, I suppose, this year. And that's all going to be on the Friday, the 6th of March. So I suppose important to say that, the dates for 2020 will be the 6th to the 8th of March. And of course, International Women's Day is on the 8th of March. And that's why we've always tried to, I suppose, schedule the festival around International Women's Day. So, so that kind of gives people something to put in their diaries. It's always going to include the 8th of March and the days around that,
Yeah.
And then other returning performers, we're going to have the Irish pianist Isabel O'Connell, who's based over in New York, and she gave a fantastic concert the first year. She really blew everybody away, and she loved playing in Clonmel. She loved the acoustic in Old St. Mary's Church, which is of course gorgeous. And she just felt that there was such a magnificent audience reaction, so she's really excited to come back, and we're delighted to have her back. She really is such a phenomenal talent. So she's going to be doing, quite a modern program, so it will be, I suppose, quite, you might kind of say avant-garde, but, she really is just such an incredible pianist. It's great to see her perform. We're also welcoming back the Irish Baroque Orchestra. So again, we're in the second year now of a 3-year link up with them, really, and they're again delighted to be coming back. They really enjoyed their time in Clonmel last year. They're going to be doing a concert in the Main Guard on the Sunday night, the 8th of March. And again, the Main Guard is just such a beautiful venue. It's a really gorgeous acoustic, and they just were absolutely blown away by it as a venue last year. They thought it was just gorgeous. They loved the way they sounded in the space. And then last last year they were marking the 400th anniversary of the composer Barbara Strozzi, and now this year they're going to mark the 400th anniversary of another Italian woman composer called Isabella Leonarda. And so she would have been born in 1620, and so it's great to be able to mark these anniversaries, you know, with the Irish Baroque Orchestra, and really demonstrate the way in which, you know, women writing music is not just a recent phenomenon. It's something that has been going on for centuries, you know, back to, you know, even the 12th century and earlier. But their program is going to feature that kind of early music, Baroque music. So if you like the music of, you know, of those earlier composers, then this is definitely the concert for you. And we're so thrilled to have them back. They're actually going to be performing that same program in the National Concert Hall the night before. So, you know, we're really, you know, they're such fantastic performers. We're really thrilled to have them back. Absolutely.
You know, it's really like, I have to say personally, the classical side of music probably was something that I would only in the last few years now have started to become a little bit interested in. Not because I didn't like it, but I don't know, maybe is it an age thing? I don't know. But you've single-handedly kind of introduced me to several amazing women that I never would have heard of.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, that's great. It's great to hear, Emer. Thank you so much. You know, I mean, I suppose many of the names are not immediately recognizable, you know, because this music is not often programmed, it's not often performed. But, you know, somebody said to me last year, you know, if I didn't know that this whole concert was of music by women composers, you know, I wouldn't be able to tell, because it's just great music, you know, it's so compelling, you know, as repertoire. And it's great to be able to, you know, to kind of unearth it and let people listen to it. And of course, this year then, as I said, we're going to try and broaden it out a little bit. So obviously people who are interested in classical music, there's always been something for them, but we're also going to start including a bit more kind of traditional music and also jazz, you know. So I think those are really exciting developments for us. So we have the fiddle player Edel Sullivan, who's going to be doing a concert also on the 8th of March, which is International Women's Day itself. So she'll be doing an afternoon concert. And also Anne-Marie O'Farrell, who will be doing a harp concert on the 8th of March, a lunchtime concert in the main guard. And she will be performing the harp. Amazing. We've never had a harp concert so far. And of course, the harp recently was very celebrated by UNESCO. They've designated it as a particular kind of cultural emblem of Ireland, to recognise how important it is in Irish musical life and Irish cultural life. So, you know, we've actually kind of tied in very nicely. We didn't know this when we were programming it back in, you know, a year ago or more. But it's great to be able to highlight it in this way. And of course, Dr. Anne-Marie O'Farrell, to give her full title, and she will be performing on both pedal harp, which is the kind of the concert harp, and also Irish harp. So, you know, some of the pieces will have a kind of a traditional flavour, although they will be kind of contemporary pieces with those links. And she's also going to be premiering a new work by the winner of our Emerging Composer competition, who's a young woman called Rose Connolly. And again, she's a really exciting composer and performer, and her own background is both kind of classical, I suppose, and traditional Irish music. So she's a multi-instrumentalist as well as a composer. She's a student at the Royal Irish Academy of Music, and we're really excited, you know, that she has been the winner of this, our kind of third Emerging Composer competition. So yeah,
the Emerging Composer competition is a huge part of the overall festival, isn't it?
It is really, you know, it's lovely to be able to kind of give opportunities to these emerging composers, and, you know, and to have them write a piece for one of the concerts. So for example, in the first year, it would have been for the voice vocal trio, and then last year, again, it was, you know, it was a piece for the pianist Mary DeLay. It was part of our Clara Schumann commission. And now this year, a piece for harp for Anne-Marie O'Farrell. So, you know, it's great. We have these pieces that are going to be premiered, in the festival, and it's a great opportunity for the emerging composers, but also for audiences to hear these new voices. And this year we were actually really lucky to partner up with the Contemporary Music Centre in Dublin, and so they actually funded a workshop for the shortlisted candidates of the competition. And so they would have had a workshop with Anne-Marie O'Farrell in the Contemporary Music Centre, just on kind of developing writing for harp, because obviously it's an unusual instrument. People might be used to writing for harp. And so then out of that, then Rose emerged as the winner. And so she's going to continue working with Anne-Marie O'Farrell on her piece, and then it'll be premiered on the 8th of March. And then, of course, the jazz strand, we're delighted to have the CIT, the Cork School of Music Jazz Big Band, and they're just fantastic. They're conducted by Cormac McCarthy, and they're just a wonderful ensemble. And, that's going to be great as well, to hear this, new compositions and arrangements by women composers, because, of course, women have been involved in jazz from the very beginning. And it's great to be able to highlight that as well, I suppose, in one of our concerts. And, and they're just going to be great. They're a big band, so again, big band jazz is, it has this kind of appeal beyond
it really
the
does,
sort of the usual kind of concert going, and it's just going to be such a fantastic concert. So we're really excited about that as well. So
it's hard to resist a big band, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. The brass sound, and they're just fabulous. They're really tight ensembles. So yeah, that'll be great.
There's a lot of really interesting stuff going on in contemporary classical music. I know you're a lecturer in the School of Music in Cork yourself, so you probably see the really leading edge of that, I suppose, with students coming up through the ranks.
Absolutely, yes, yeah. And there are so many amazing kind of contemporary women composers. We're actually going to have another kind of premiere as part of Finding a Voice 2020 in the Isabel O'Connell concert, which I mentioned earlier on. So she's actually going to be doing the world premiere of a new piece by a composer called Gráinne Mulvey, an Irish composer, and we're really excited about that, because it's great to get a world premiere at a festival, and especially by somebody like Isabel O'Connell. So I know that Gráinne is delighted as well, and she's going to come down to Finding Voice, which will be great, because another thing that has been wonderful over the last few years is having many of the composers actually at the concerts. So, for example, last year when we had the Clara Schumann Commission, most of the composers involved actually came obviously to the concert, but there was a talk in the South Tipperary Museum, and that was, we're going to have a talk in the museum this year on the Saturday afternoon, and it's really great to have the composers' presence there, because I think it makes the music much more accessible in a way. If people can hear these composers talking about their music and explaining what they're trying to do, and and also give pre-concert talks and so on. So it's really, I think it's really important to to give people a sort of a context really for the music. So yeah.
That's what I remember actually. Was it Marion Inglesby? I spoke to her. Maybe it was the year before last, but I was really struck by just speaking to her about the piece that she had commissioned, and the way that it was, she talked about nature so much and her inspiration and the river and the mountains, and just when you heard the piece of music, then it just brought all of that. Not that you couldn't hear it anyway, but the fact that she had sort of explained it so well was like you really felt what she felt almost. It was lovely.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic. And of course, Marion is great. She's a local composer, and originally from Carrick-on-Suir, and, and we have featured her music in the last couple of years. So we are hopefully going to include a piece of hers this year again, but it will actually be a piece for choir. So because International Women's Day is on a Sunday, we're going to work with some local church choirs, so that during the services or masses on the Sunday morning, they will include a piece by a woman composer to mark International Women's Day. So
that's great, isn't it?
yeah, so again, it's I suppose it's about kind of trying to broaden out, just and tie in with what's happening locally in terms of the concerts and
yeah. Well, it sounds like it's going to be a fantastic weekend yet again, Róisín. I can't wait
Oh,
to
well, thank you very much. Yeah, we're really looking forward to it. And, and I think, it's great in a way sometimes to have a whole weekend of music. You kind of get your cultural fill for the next little while. You can really gorge
in a
on.
small town like this, you have to take it when it comes because, it's not very often that it,
Yeah, and we have had such fantastic support and we do see, often there are people who will go to practically every concert, and it is really amazing to see that. And, again, for the last couple of years, we have had, sort of tickets for people who want to go to everything. Obviously, they're kind of limited in number, but again, to recognize the fact that some people really are such amazing supporters of the concerts and and it's really great to see.
That actually proves to me now how good your lineups are, because for people who are like, for the layperson like me, the names don't really, if you're not sort of into the type of music, then the names probably don't. But to fans of classical music, the chance of seeing them in your own hometown are probably fairly slim.
Absolutely,
in Clonmel. So like it's testament to the fact that you've really strong lineups every year. It's brilliant.
Oh yeah, well no, I mean I think we have had strong lineups, and I suppose we've been really lucky to have these just amazing performers, and that's the whole idea, is to have these really just top-notch performers come to perform the music, because the music itself is kind of an unknown quantity. But if you have, like, say for example, the Irish Baroque Orchestra, the RT Contemporary Quartet, these really high caliber performers, performing it, that you're going to go to an amazing performance, even if the music isn't necessarily familiar, And the other thing to say is, even though there are people who go to every single concert, there are also people who kind of look and say, okay, I might go to one or two of them, and that's brilliant as well. It's just great to have the support, from the local community for the concerts.
It's lovely to kind of go and just take a chance on something. Which I saw a couple of things last year, and they probably wouldn't maybe have been on my radar really, and I was blown away. The Pauline Oliveros thing was just out of this world. Like, it was such a thing to experience, so different.
Absolutely.
But such an enjoyable performance, I suppose. It was like performance art more than music. It was a mixture of so many. It was just it's really
that was very special, and that piece was actually written for the ensemble, the quiet ensemble, so that was just amazing to to have them. And I just thought it worked so beautifully in the main card space. It was so immersive, but again, I mean, it's such, as you said, it's a really unusual piece. It's it's not something that you're going to experience necessarily again in the same way. So it's great to be able to bring these unusual performances and feature them in the concerts. So
well, I'd say to anybody out there, take a chance on pick something off the program and just take a chance on it, and just, I mean, your eyes will be opened, your mind will be opened, every bit of you will be opened, no doubt. Your heart will be opened, hopefully. It's great. So
so we will have some more kind of announcements over the next few weeks, and obviously we've got the website findingavoice.ie, so if people want to check out just the full program there, and tickets will be going on sale very soon. And again, people can buy tickets in advance, they can come along usually on the day, and there are tickets available. And if not, we'll kind of put up what the availability is looking like, so people can plan ahead, but the full program will be up on the website. And
www.findingavoice.ie.
That's the website. Yeah, exactly. So
That's where to go for any updates or information on tickets or anything like
exactly,
that.
Exactly.
And plenty of time to book ahead because it is March.
Plenty of time to book ahead. Yeah, it's a couple of months away. We're kind of, so I suppose 6th of March today, Nollaig Naman, Women's Christmas, so
so we're kind of doing this today.
Exactly. And it's lovely to mark it in this way. And, we're kind of 2 months, I suppose, out now. So, we've got a lot of build up now over the next couple of months and then a fantastic weekend of concerts in March.
Brilliant. Well, Róisín, yourself and Cleena, you're shining examples of Manona hÉireann. So thanks a million.
Thank you so much, Emer.
Happy little Women's Christmas or Women's Christmas. Nollaig Naman.
Yes, Nollaig Naman.
I was thinking of that poem, that Irish poem, hÉireann Nollaig Naman, last night, listening to the wind howling in the window.
Oh, very atmospheric. Fantastic. Yeah.
Róisín, it's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you. Thanks for your time.
No, thank you so much. It's been lovely to talk to you, Emer, and thank you so much for having me on the podcast.
I'm really looking forward to Finding a Voice, and we'll talk to you soon. And a big thanks to Róisín for her time in talking to me this Monday morning. For regular listeners, apologies for the slightly dodgy sound at times there. That was my first foray into recording via Skype, so please bear with me. I'm learning here as well. If you'd like to find out more about Finding a Voice, you can visit their website at findingavoice.ie. And there will be updates on further acts to be announced, and also the ticket information will all be available from there. If you'd like to get in touch with the podcast, the email address is southttipartspodcast@gmail.com. That's southttipartspodcast@gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you, so why not drop me a line? Just like to take this opportunity to wish everybody all the best for 2020. And that's it for this episode. Speak to you all next time.